Very good afternoon to all of you, and welcome back to another session on startup and new venture management. This is a subject from semester 1 of MBA, and we are at Symbiosis Center for Online Learning, which is part of Symbiosis Skills and Professional University. I am Dr. Mukul Burgate, welcoming all the students, all the participants who have enrolled for this particular program. Today, as you know, we started with solving a few case studies. Last session onwards, we had one case study on Atlas, and yesterday we tried to solve one case study related to marketing. In fact, today we are going to discuss two small concepts. Let me take you to those concepts related to a syllabus. Here, those concepts. See, I'll be sharing this study material today itself. The class note I have not circulated yet because it was not very much finalized. But once the lecture is over, you'll be getting those class note, and PPT won't be there because here onwards we all are into now case study discussion, right? Which hardly requires any PPT to be presented, any PowerPoint presentation to be given to you. It is required more of analysis, more of investigation into the theoretical aspect which we have studied earlier, and implementing those, or finding out the implication of those theory, whatever we have learned earlier, to this very small cases we are going to study. In fact, this is going to clarify most of the doubt related to the theoretical aspect of the subject. And today what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss sustainability, right? Sustainability of entrepreneurship. This is one of the concept which I'd like to discuss. Sustain, right? Sustainability of an entrepreneurship. This is one. And secondly, this one more concept, that is exit strategy for an enterprise. What are the likely exit strategy, and what does exit strategy really mean? Does they really mean that closing down the business or winding up the business, or is it means venturing out into something else, right? Can a profitable business be given an exit strategy? Is it possible? Is it being done? Or whether a loss-making business needs an exit strategy, and what are the ways in which this exit strategy is going to take place? Because see, exit strategy is something which doesn't happen overnight. All of a sudden you wake up in the morning and you decide to wind up the entire thing, or launch an IPO. It requires a lot of planning, lot of organizing, and doing a lot of research, market research, which we already have studied. So before I start with the case study, let's just take a look at what is sustainability of an entrepreneurship. For this, again, I'm going to show you a small video, and after that we are going to take a theoretical look at this particular concept, and directly we are going to move to our case study, which is none other than Green Mountain Coffee Roasters. This is one of the non-fictitious, it's a real case study which is there available on Wikipedia as well. I have downloaded, I have taken it from Wikipedia itself. The references I'll be giving in the class notes. So we'll take a look at one of the video which discuss about what is sustainability, right? And this will clarify our concept because sustainability is not only about profit making, that just to sustain your business, just to maintain it going, keep it going. It is also requires a thorough understanding of the social environment around you, as well as the natural environment. This three aspects is going to come into picture when we talk about sustainability. This particular diagram explain it in a better fashion. Now, these three particular circles. One circle is related to economic sustainability, which talks about profit making, which talk about the organization earning profit and sustaining on itself. Social sustainability, we're going to take a look at it, and the environmental sustainability, These three circles makes together the sustainable entrepreneurship, and this can be represented in another form also, because economic sustainability is the most important. If you are not able to economically sustain yourself, then possibly you can never think about social sustainability and environmental sustainability. Again, this has been put in a different perspective, where the middle part is the interaction of all these three aspects, that is social, economic and environmental. And as an entrepreneur, you have to be very concerned about this triangle, because there is overlap, because there is overlapping of interest of all these three parameters. And this is where the actual the true entrepreneur will think about in long run, right? Maybe in short run they are more concerned with economic sustainability. Ananta, welcome. In fact, I was discussing something about. Good afternoon to you, Ananta.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Yeah. See, Ananta, actually today I wanted to cover two small topics. One is related to sustainability of an entrepreneurship, right? And one more is regarding the exit policy or exit strategy for any startup, or for that matter any business. It can be existing business, it can be a startup, and you can make out an exit policy right at the beginning itself. How much time you would like to stick to that particular business? Maybe 5 years. See, usually exit strategies are planned out well in advance. It requires lot of planning, lot of research to be done, and usually they are in the horizon of 2 years, 5 years, 10 years or 15 years, because that is again one of the way we introduce our startup. You need to be ready for exit also, and exit necessarily do not mean closing down the business. It can be venturing into altogether different area. It can be coming out with IPO. It can be winding up altogether if it's a loss making. It can be searching for an alliance or a partnership. So whatever strategies that are available, whatever the outlets for this exits are available, we'll be discussing that, right? And this was the diagram. Ananta, is it visible to you?
Yes, sir. Perfectly visible.
Okay, fine, good. So this is what I was discussing. The sustainability of any entrepreneurship comprises of three major components, that is the economic sustainability, the social sustainability and environmental sustainability. And why we are discussing this topic now is because it is, first of all, we have to see that we are economically sustainable, and this is what we were discussing: how to start a business, how to do market research, from where to find the finance, right? How to hire right people, and how to ultimately launch the business. Once it is being launched and when it is found that it is economically viable or sustainable, we can use interchangeably. Sustainable itself means it has to survive. Sustainability in itself, the meaning of sustainability is that it should survive. It should survive for itself without taking a toll of your future generation. We will be coming into the exact dictionary or bookish definition of sustainability. Once this economic sustainability is achieved, then the entrepreneur should think about the social sustainability, the people around you, the stakeholders, the society at large, right? And once this is achieved, you can, and see, all these three things can be achieved simultaneously also. But the first thing is your business should be viable. It should sustain. It should earn profit. And once it is doing it, you jump into the second step, that is social sustainability. And ultimately you land up thinking about the natural environment around you, how you are going to protect it, how you are going to support it, and how your business is not going to do any harm, do any damage to the natural environment, because we all know there are plenty of issues related to pollution, related to plastic, related to energy, which ultimately leads to disturbing of the natural climate or natural environment. And this is what the true entrepreneur has to take care of. It is not only just earning profit. And I was discussing about this diagram. This is what sort of a Venn diagram where there is an interaction of this economic sustainability, social sustainability and environmental sustainability. And this particular triangle is the area where all these three parameters meets together, and this is the area where the entrepreneur should concentrate more on. Right? It can be represented, the Venn diagram can be represented in various forms, but ideally this is how the true entrepreneur should be taking care of all these three aspects. Here the focus should be more on this triangle compared to economic, social and environment. All these three has to be considered equally. So before we venture into this particular topic, let us take a look at one of the video which will again further clarify our doubts regarding this, what exactly sustainability of an entrepreneurship. So here we start with the video, right?
How to be a sustainable entrepreneur. An introduction. As an entrepreneur, you start your business because you identified a problem, you have found a market gap, or you just developed a better solution to an existing method. First and foremost, a successful business should be able to financially sustain itself and, moreover, be profitable at a certain stage. There is a big difference between being an entrepreneur and a sustainable entrepreneur. The sustainable entrepreneur does not only think about his business's profitability, but also outside of the box. He takes into account all levels of sustainability that his or her business may affect. All levels of sustainability? What does that mean, you may ask yourself? No worries, I will explain it to you. Let's take a short look back into history. In the 18th century, Karl von Carlowitz, a German mining administrator, experienced many natural disasters at his job. These included summers with low precipitation or disruptive windstorms. Especially those tree populations that were sold as economic goods suffered extremely and caused problems for the local economy. Therefore, Carlowitz formulated ideas for the sustainable use of the forest. His view was that only so much wood should be cut as could be regrown through planned reforestation projects. This became an important guiding principle of modern forestry. Later appointed by the UN, the mission of the Brundtland Commission is to unite countries to pursue sustainable development. According to the Commission in its 1987 report, Our Common Future, sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs.
See, this is the definition given by UNESCO as well as United Nations. In fact, just at the start we had this thing, United Nations, right? This is the true definition, which says that sustainable development is development that meets the need of the
development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs.
Without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. That means you have to take care of the future generations to come. It can be one generation, two generation. In fact, you should think as long as.
Sir, video is stopped.
Yes. I have stopped it. Just a moment. Yeah.
Today, sustainability is viewed as.
In fact, I have stopped it. Anita, in fact, I was muted also. See, this is the actual definition which the United States has given for sustainable development. From sustainable development, we can think about sustainable entrepreneurship, because both goes hand in hand. And what does this definition says? This definition says that sustainable development is development that meets the need of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. So as an entrepreneur, you should be able to know the projection of what exactly will be the needs in future. Maybe in a decades, that is 10 years, maybe in a century to come, maybe further beyond that, right? So that you do not consume all the resources, precious resources which are not renewable, particularly like coals and natural gas are there. You should preserve this for your future generation, At the same time, you should also be sustainable. Your business should be viable. That meets the need of the present. That is what this definition says. And this is the basic backbone of sustainability entrepreneurship. Okay, let us move on.
Today, sustainability is viewed as an overall approach and often visualized in the triple bottom line model. The concept asks you to see beyond the traditional line of business of the profits that your business makes socially, environmentally, and economically. The circles are all the same size, which indicates none of the fields is more important than the other. The center represents holistic sustainability, and the overlapping area emphasizes the reciprocal connection of the three sustainability fields. This shall be our basis to start as a sustainable entrepreneur. We understood that Carl von Carlowitz was an early sustainable thinker. We also understood that our business actions affect our environment, not only economically, but also socially and ecologically.
Yeah, so this was the basic concept. It's a very simple concept that as an entrepreneur, yes, just a moment. Yeah, my video as well as audio is not on. Fine. See, this is all about the concept of sustainability, right? It's a very simple concept, and it says that not only the profit, but at the same time, you as an entrepreneur, you should be concerned with the society as a whole, the people around you, and at the same time, you should be concerned about the natural environment. So this is what the concept or the keyword which we are discussing right now is sustainability of entrepreneurship. So we have to take into consideration that we sustain ourselves as a business. We are equally accountable to the another word is CSR, that is corporate social responsibility, which is a very broad concept. But as an entrepreneur, you are equally accountable for a society at large, and at the same time, you are equally accountable for the natural environment around you, which includes land, river, oceans, right? Water body, all sort of water bodies. You should see to it that you remain sustainable. At the same time, you leave back something for the future generation to come. This is what we have seen that video, right? Another video will again further clarify it. It is a part 2 for sustainable entrepreneurship. Let us take a look at this also, and after that we'll be moving to our case study, which talks about this particular concept, and we'll be discussing about that from the entrepreneur point of view.
Number 2. How to be a sustainable entrepreneur. A closer look at the triple bottom line. In our last video, we briefly talked about the triple bottom line model. This is a concept that ensures to meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Now, I would like to go into details of its 3 dimensions. The goal of environmental sustainability is to conserve natural resources and to develop alternative sources of power. It includes climate protection and the preservation of biodiversity. At the same time, it is to reduce pollution to the environment. For businesses, social sustainability encompasses the impact of corporations on people and society. Moreover, social sustainability is fighting against poverty, maintaining a high standard of public health, paying fair wages to its employees, and providing equal opportunities for applicants. Furthermore, social sustainable entrepreneurs acknowledge minority rights, preserve cultural heritage and intergenerational equity so that every generation holds the earth in common. Economic sustainability refers to practices that support long-term economic growth without negatively impacting social, environmental, and cultural aspects of the community. That means, despite creating economic value, it is important to generate macroeconomic benefit and stability, cover the basic needs of your employees and stakeholders, pursue qualitative growth, and take external costs into account, such as the disposal of environmental damage. In 2015, all United Nations member states decided on the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals were formulated. They provide a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet, for now and into the future. It demands great responsibility for not only society but also on businesses. As an entrepreneur, you of course may not have all the means a large corporation has. Still, there are actions and small steps that you can initiate. In the next video, you will learn ways to build a...
Yeah, this is all about that basic concept of sustainable development, right? Or sustainability of entrepreneurship. So this video has explained it very clearly, and as I said, it can be represented through this Venn diagram, 3 types of Venn diagrams, where these 3 circles are equal in size. This is what the video was saying. And why it is equal? Because all the 3 concepts are equally important: economic sustainability, social as well as environmental sustainability. And the concern of a true entrepreneur or a person who really is thinking about his own sustainability, at the same time the sustainability of the future generation to come. This was the definition given by the United Nations in their summit of 2030. They have listed out 14 parameters on which the nations, all the entrepreneurs, the entire society should focus, so as to leave something for the future generation to come. So this is all about the sustainability of an entrepreneurship. Let me take you to our further concept, and then after that we'll move to this particular case study. Now, before I go to the further concept of exit policy, what we're going to do is, both of you know how to solve a case study now. And yesterday we did it, right? We did it with what? Day before yesterday, earlier session, we had a discussion on Atlas, and after that we had a discussion yesterday on this particular case study of related to FMCG. Okay. So what we are going to do, I'm just going to read out this case study, and after that I'm going to cover up the exit strategy, and after that we're going to come back to this particular case study and discuss what exactly this case study is talking about, what are the problem areas, and how we are going to resolve over here from the concept of sustainable development, right? Sustainability of an entrepreneurship. So this case study is very simple case study related to Green Mountain Coffee Roaster. It's a company. Bob Stiller, I'll just going to read it out for you. It's a small case study, and just let me know what you have followed. After that, I'm going to go to what? I'm going to go to the one more important concept of exit strategy. Just now we have discussed about it. What exactly is an exit strategy? So here we goes with the case study. Bob Stiller opened his first coffee shop in the year 1981 in Waterbury, Vermont, selling high quality coffee. His concept was simple: sell only high quality coffee to ordinary people every day. When demand for the coffee outstripped his small store, he started bagging his coffee and sold it to wholesalers and supermarkets and through mail orders. Then recognizing and experience the challenges brought out by the fierce competition in the specialty coffee segment in the industry, Stiller became an early advocate that his business, and all business for that matter, could help make the world a better place by committing to the sustainable business practices. Now, what are these sustainable business practices? We'll be taking a look at it also. Green Mountain Coffee Roasters, GMCR, under Stiller's entrepreneurial leadership, saw an opportunity to create a competitive advantage by embedding sustainability in its product and practices. Stiller was passionate about this commitment and was convinced that this could lead to financial success. By adopting innovative with sustainable business practices, GMCR met customer demand while having a positive impact on the environment and the society. So here comes the two keywords which we have discussed right now. GMCR implemented a fair trade procurement model that improved the quality of life for the farmers in the coffee bean supply chain and their families. Now it is not given how they have done it, we can visualize it. At the same time, fair trade helps GMCR monitor quality and lower cost by lowering dependency on the traders and other supply chain intermediaries. In procuring its coffee, the company lowered supply chain cost and was able to respond more quickly to the customers' preferences. The company's entrepreneurial success is seen in Green Mountain stock price with $100 invested in the company stock in September 2004, valued at $1,600 by March 2009. In 2009, the company was listed as number 11 on Fortune's 100 fastest growing companies and the number 5 in Forbes best small companies. The company's sales and net income for the year 2009 were $103 million and 55.8 million respectively. So this was the sale and this was the net income. So what exactly can we make out from this case study? What exactly is Bob Stiller doing here? See, we can just correlate it with earlier theoretical aspect we have studied. We can correlate it to the marketing mix that we have studied, all 7 P's. We can correlate it to the sustainable development or sustainability of an entrepreneurship and how this case study is related. Can both of you make out what exactly you have followed through this case study? See, yes.
Sir, I think he had used some model which could be beneficial for his enterprise.
Right.
And secondly, farmers also he has taken care of it.
Exactly.
And the reduction of the cost of supply chain logistics, warehousing, etc., he might have used some model to reduce the cost.
Right.
And customer preference was his priority.
Exactly.
In innovating things or anything like.
Right. So see, what the concept we have studied right now is sustainable development, right? And the first.
Actually, sir,
yeah.
If I may intervene.
Yes, Deva, please.
He's removed middlemen.
Good, excellent.
One important thing is removed middlemen.
Right.
Something that internet is doing right now.
Exactly. Wonderful.
Something that Modi is also trying to do right now.
Right. Exactly. See, middleman, all we know, most of the time, see, it's not at all always true, but most of the time they are the exploiter, right? Whom they exploit, particularly talking about the farm produce, they try to exploit the farmers because farmers do have lacking of financial support, right? They would like to grow the produce and sell it off immediately because they are always in need. They are the basic. I would say coming to supply chain management. They are the suppliers, right? In terms of producing the goods, right? The middlemen are there. Maybe they are needed many a time. But what is seen everywhere, not only this is the case with India, middleman's job is to procure it in plenty, stack it, see to it, and manipulate the price. Many a time, what they do is they will be having plenty of warehouses and godowns, and most of the time because they are financially very sound and they are into money making business only. So there is exploitation of both of the manufacturer as well as the supplier. Here the suppliers are the farmers, right? Because they are the primary producer of coffee. In this case it is coffee. And yes, rightly pointed out by Devang, what is the case study pointing out is to the supply chain management, right? if you are going to lower the cost, right? If somebody is going to directly procure from the farmers and provide them the necessary price, उसको अपन ये भी बोलते हैं MRP, right? That is the actual price the farmer should get, market price we call it, right? So here what Bob Taylor is doing, he is trying to promote this farmer so that see, his concern with quality, that is what is saying, shown over here, right? So what he wants the farmer to get the best of best price, so that, see, here it is given, the concept was simple: sell only high quality coffee to ordinary people. And how can he do it? He is able to sustain it by directly approaching the farmers and eliminating the middleman. So the concept here, see, all the words are important when we talk about case study. As I said earlier, like you need to think, you need to have the brain of what? A spy, an inspector, a judge, right? All sort of angles should go, and each and every word, each and every sentence has to be investigated thoroughly. So how he's going to sustain, and see, my orientation towards this case study was more from the point of view of sustainability, right? So how he's going to sustain high quality coffee, at the same time he's paying good to the farmers. So one thing that he did was eliminating the intermediaries. It is simple, it is mentioned, right? And ultimately how he's is achieving success because of his concern. See, two words are again given: environment and society. This ultimately creates a goodwill in the market for his company, which is nothing but GMCR, that is Green Mountain Coffee Roaster. And this is reflected, and see, this is it's not a fictitious case study. It is there on the Wikipedia from where I have taken it. This image is there present on the Wikipedia itself. And because of his concern for the society. Now society includes all the stakeholders. It includes the farmers, it includes the customers or consumer, as rightly pointed out by Ananta, and Devang has rightly pointed out about the supply chain, right? So society include all the stakeholders, and primary stakeholders are whom? The customers and the suppliers. They are the primary stakeholders, and the concern of Bob Taylor towards the stakeholders is the best. He's taking utmost care of both of them. His philosophy, his company started with the concept, with the punchline of selling high quality coffee to ordinary people, right? So if he is able to take care of it, and this gets reflected in terms of goodwill, it gets reflected in terms of the company stock, which is given 100 worth, the value of the stock, $100. It went to how much in a span of 5 years? It has almost went 16 times. $1,600 is the valuation, and it is all because of what? Because people perceive his company which is sustainable, and which is not sustainable for itself. It is taking care of the environment as well as the society. And as I said, society includes all the stakeholders, right? It can be public at large, it can be consumer, even the people who are not consuming it. They equally create the goodwill, they equally contribute in enhancing the goodwill of any organization. For example, Tatas, we are aware about Tatas, right? Tatas are perceived as the most authentic, or they are what? Ethical people, right? And they are genuine people to do business with, and that's why you often see that their stocks keeps on moving upward only, right? They are not high, their stocks are not manipulated, and they represent the true value of the company. They represent the true ethics, true concern for both environment and the society. It is, see, entrepreneurship, why I am taking this case study is, entrepreneurship is not all about profit making. Fine, that should be the initial objective. Yes, Deva?
No, sir, nothing.
Okay. So it's a very simple case study, as I said, and see, this is how we are supposed to solve. See, my question, Devang, was earlier. In fact, you were not there. Before this, have you solved any case studies? I'm to say any.
Yeah, I have sawn, sir. I have sawn.
You saw, okay, because Ananta was completely blind, so I started with the basic of like steps and all those things. Even though there is no thumb rule as such for solving any case studies, but ideally these steps can be followed. Like for example, problem identification and all those things, right? Just a moment, excuse me for a second. Madam, I will call you back. Hello, that's fine. So yes, so what we were talking, solving the case studies, right? 2 case studies we are already solved earlier. Atlas cycle, which is again one of the realistic case study, right? And one fictitious case study we saw yesterday was something related to this FMCG product, related to HUL and Patanjali. Devang, you can go through the earlier videos, because in last few sessions we'll be focusing more on the case studies. So what this case study says is, it says about the issue over here is sustainability, right? In terms of all the 3 aspects, that is the firm. Here it is GMCR in itself. How sustainable they can be, how can they keep on making profit and remain in business. This is what the last para talks about it. They are growing, right? They are growing, and which can be seen from their balance sheet, from the stock valuation, and they are concerned about the environment and the society. So this is all about sustainable development. So this is one of the case studies which I just wanted you people to go through it, so that we get an in-depth idea of what exactly this sustainability talked about. Here are again few more important keywords, like GMCR implemented a fair trade procurement model. Now what does this mean? That improves the quality of life for the farmers in the coffee bean supply chain. Fair trade procurement model. What can this be? Can you take a wild guess? Fair trade procurement model. Now, procurement is what? Procuring the coffee from the farmers in and around this particular region. Here is it is Waterbury, Vermont, which is one of the small area of El Salvador. It is one of the South American country where this particular company is operating. Now, what can be a fair trade procurement model? Because this has something to do with the sustainability of everybody, all the stakeholders, all the 3 aspects of sustainability. See, not manipulating the procurement, right? Like I have given you the example, purchasing it at a lower price when the farmers are in need, when they are desperate of selling their product, stacking it and then selling it for the higher price when there is a shortfall, when there is a shortage in the market. This is the model which amounts for unfair trade practices. That's why government has a ban or restriction on stocking the important or the essential good, for example sugar, or for example wheat, pulses, right, onions. Plenty of example we have seen earlier with India also. There are shortfall of onions. And why does that shortfall all of a sudden occurs? Maybe because the produce was not sufficient, and since the produce was not sufficient, the intermediaries has taken undue advantage, or the supply chain intermediaries have procured it and further escalated the pricing, right? Further made the situation green by stocking it and further creating an artificial shortage. So that amounts to unfair trade procurement model or practices. So here he wants to implement a fair trade procurement model. He would like to pay to the farmers what they deserve, right? So that he keeps on getting this high quality coffee, and which he can supply to the ordinary people. See, again, his clientele or his customers are not the elite class. Even though he's serving high quality coffee, his target audience, his strategy is more pricing is more of penetration pricing. He'd like to reach out to more and more ordinary people rather than to serving only a small segment of elite class. people who really would like to pay for a premium, would like to pay the additional price for the quality. His strategy, his philosophy is not that. His philosophy is sustainable in nature. That is the keyword which we want to discuss today. Sustainable, right? He wants to survive. He wants his business to grow and reach to each and all ordinary person in the society, particularly in that particular region, because the region is being specified. Nothing is being talked about export and all this thing, right? But the thing is, he want to be not to be expanding too fast. Again, that is one of the mistake which most of the entrepreneurs do. Expanding without giving a thought, expanding unreasonably, right? So he first of all would like to concentrate or settle down in this particular area, and after that further he may have a strategy which is not mentioned. We can make this as an assumption, because in case studies you can do certain assumptions which usually do not change the storyline of the case, which usually will not hurt the basic theme of the case. So these are the steps we have seen earlier. So I hope you follow this concept, Devang and Ananta, both of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
yes,
good,
sir.
good. And the video.
But sir, is it possible?
Yes.
Sir, is it possible that to eliminate 100% the intermediaries, is it feasible, viable
Ultimately,
in all sectors?
yeah, you see, intermediaries, they have their own role to play. It is not always possible to eliminate it. We have taken the case of HUL yesterday, right? HUL, they are banking. I'll go to that case study. See, this is a good example, and you have
Yes, sir, that is the
suggested
reason I'm asking.
because
Yes, sir.
here without retailers, see, retailers are whom they are the intermediaries. Without
Correct,
retailer,
correct.
FMCG business cannot survive.
Yes,
They
sir.
have to maintain this
Yes.
chain, right? Same thing may not apply to all sort of business, or like I have quoted you the example of white goods, right? For white goods, you need not have those many retailers compared to FMCG. So it depends on your product, it depends on your business model, and it depends on the area where you would like to serve. It depends on competition also. If yours is a monopolistic market, then probably people are going to come and reach at you. They are going to reach to your outlet. You need not have a single intermediaries in place, right? The monopolistic thing is something like railways, right? Railways, you have to log on to IRCT website. Even if you do not log, if you go through an intermediaries like Make My Trip, that particular website will land you on the website of IRCTC, which is nothing but one of the wing of railways, right? And since railways in monopolistic market, they can usually do this. They can always dictate that fine, we are not going to reach out to the customer. But here again, sustainability, right? Serving the society is the intention of the government. That's why they have tie-up with various other websites, which is not at all needed, right? Despite of the fact that the customer or the commuter who are booking a ticket has to pay certain fees. Conveyance fees goes to IRCTC, and certain again fees are charged by other website, private website, like for example Make My Trip. I've given you the example. So intermediaries, it's not that always they keep on exploiting. They are needed many a time. Like one of the case which suggests HUL, right? The HUL on themselves, they cannot reach directly to each and every home. They need an intermediary, without which they cannot survive. Their product cannot reach to the end user. So here, but what is happening? These intermediaries are more are from the point of view of procurement, right? Procurement, the raw material, right? They are not supplying this to the end user. What this intermediaries see, supply chain management has two angles, as I said, like logistic, inbound logistic and outbound logistic. Inbound logistic is something where you buy the raw material, you convert it into a product, and outbound is something once the product is ready, then the intermediaries come into picture, which are usually beneficial, like as I said, retailers, right? So Outbound logistics, you always need intermediaries. Maybe you can curtail on few of them through internet. Internet is coming very handy for most of the manufacturer. They can cut down on these intermediaries. They can have a single intermediaries or even zero level. That is what we had discussed yesterday. If the manufacturer is able to directly supply the goods to the end user, it is called as zero level of supply chain, or the level is said to be zero, where there is no intermediaries involved. The example would be the website of the manufacturer. If the manufacturer is trying to sell through his or her own website and directly reaching out to the customers, then that is zero level. If something like Amazon, if I'm tying up with Amazon or Flipkart, or for that matter any e-commerce company, then that is level 1, right? I am there as a manufacturer and I am supplying it to some e-commerce company, which in turn is directly supplying it to the end user or the customer. So that is level 1. And likewise you can have level 2, where you bring in wholesaler and retailer. You can have level 3, level 4, and you can choose multiple of this model. You can go with level 0 as well as level 2. Simultaneously you can adopt both the models. It depends on what exactly is the competition, what exactly is your product, how good you are in the market, what is your market share. Plenty of factors comes into picture. Like in COVID, the supply chain management took a hit, and say it suffered a lot because of many things, right? Because of certain restriction on the movements of goods. So there the most of the manufacturer, they started shifting to internet selling, tying up with e-commerce company, because that was coming very handy. So your question, Ananta, I hope I have answered to it. It is needed, right?
Okay.
And here what supply chain we are talking about is about inbound logistic, something where you are trying to procure a raw material. You are not supplying the finished good. There's no talk about what this Bob Stiller is. He's fine. He's manufacturing high quality coffee, but there is no mention of the fact that whether he's doing it through. It is mentioned that he's doing it through his own outlet. And yeah, here it is again. Let us go to your question. He started, see, when the demand for his coffee outstripped his small store. See, he is doing it through his own store. So there is zero level of intermediaries when it comes to outbound logistic. Outbound means company se bahar nikalna. Once the goods are manufactured, it can be anything. Here it is coffee, and he is trying to sell it through his small store. But once he see that his store is not able to supply, means I'm say any store has its own limitation. It can serve to a specific number of customers. So what he is doing, he is now hiring taking help of wholesalers, supermarkets, and through mail orders. Now what is this mail order? Is again part of direct marketing, where you directly reach out to the end users. So this is a wonderful case study which talks about inbound as well as outbound logistics, right? So he is taking help of wholesalers, but when probably when the demand for his coffee is outstripped, his small store is not able to take care of the demand supply. So there he is taking help of wholesalers. But there is no mention about this particular outbound logistic. This is what he is doing for outbound logistic. Inbound, he is doing what? He is doing good from the point of view of sustainability of environment. Now, how environment is being protected here? Can we make a wild guess? Can we just think about from this aspect also? Because this is the third parameter which is equally important when it comes to sustainability of any venture and any startup, or for that matter any entrepreneur. How environment is being protected. Can you read between the line? Can something be discussed on this also? See, GMCR meet customer demand while having a positive impact on environment and the society. So how can you find out a keyword, anything which will convince us that he is also taking care of the environment, or can we make certain assumptions? Yes, Anantan Devam?
No, sir.
No, nothing is mentioned.
Actually, intermediaries, when you remove the intermediaries,
Right.
the logistic costs also reduces because it goes directly from the farm to the factory,
Right. Good.
and instead of traveling to the mandi in between.
Exactly.
That would be one small reason. I don't know how much it affects.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
that could be one small
Yeah.
reason.
Yes. Environment. See, if the farmers sell it to multiple of the procure agent, right? Procuring agent, then definitely what is going to happen? There will be setting up of n numbers of warehouses, right? Unhealthy competition might be there, right? Unfair trade practices might be there, which is directly going to have impact. Very truly said, we cannot visualize how much impact it will have on the environment. But another important aspect is, if he is going to serve to this farmer very well, right? If they are happy, if they are satisfied with whatever prices are going to they are going to get, then obviously this farmer are going to concentrate more on their farms. Ultimately, these are the people who are the interface between the environment and the society, right? So if the farmer are happy, obviously they are not going to overexploit the farms or exploit the environment, right? If they are going to get whatever they are deserving, right? So indirectly this is going to help environment, because farmers are the one who are going to go in the field, and they are the one who are accountable and responsible directly in protecting the environment. So if they are not happy, they are not getting whatever they deserve, if they are always in debt, then obviously they will try to exploit the environment. And so it can be a further extension of their fields into the forest. It can happen that way also. That fine, I'm not 2 acres, I'm not able to satisfy my family needs, right? Whatever needs are there, because all of we know farmers' needs are very limited compared to what we have in cities. So this may stop further further encroachment of these farms, which we have seen many a time, that farmers, they do go and encroach the forest land, which ultimately harms the environment. So we can take it this way also, even though it is not mentioned, but since Bob Steller is taking due care of the farmers, and if farmers are happy, ultimately farmers know the relevance and importance of environment compared to we people who stays in city. Even though we have we know the relevance and significance, but since they are the primary stakeholders when it comes to environment, because if environment get disturbed, their produce is going to get disturbed. We all know it. If there is a drought, then again they are affected. If there is a heavy downpour, heavy rainfall, that again is going to affect them, right? Even soil erosion and lot many factors are there which have direct impact on the produce of the farmers. So they have the first primary accountability or responsibility of protecting the environment, and this is being supported by Bob Steller. So all the 3 aspects are covered: environment, society, logistics. Again, I'll take it because logistics again requires lot of transportation, lot of fuel to be consumed, plenty of warehouses to be maintained, which again consumes electricity, right? If there is no intermediaries, then obviously farmer will be happy directly selling it to Bob Steller. That will save the time of stacking all this or stocking all these products or produce, and ultimately the route will be shortened. It won't be passing through a lot many intermediaries, which will save plenty of energy and time, and ultimately the quality will be preserved. What he is concerned is the quality of the coffee. So this is all about this related to the sustainability of entrepreneurship or sustainable development. And see, this forms the very important part and agenda when it comes to talking at a macro level. If micro level, fine, the entrepreneur is always concerned with profit, and he should be, because if the business is not going to survive, then the two other parameters taking care of society and the environment will do not arise. In fact, the entrepreneur, he or she might have to go for a exit strategy, which we will be discussing in our next lecture. Let me just take you through these exit strategies. What are those, right? So that we get an idea. Exit strategy is not all about just winding up or just closing down the business. Exit strategy do include many other things also. So 5 exit strategies. I'm just going to take a look. We're going to take a look at it, and after this, we're going to stop this session. We're going to end up with this session. Next session, we're going to take more case studies. Let me go through this website of exit strategy. Yeah, 5 smart exit strategy. See, these are merger and acquisition, where you try to find a partner, right? This normally means merging with a similar company or being bought by a large company. This is a win-win situation when broadening the companies having complementary skills. That is, you are trying to look out for a partner. Initial public offering, that is IPO. We all are aware about it. When the company start making profit and when it is need of extra budget for expansion or maybe introduction of new products, then this is used to be preferred mode and quick way to riches. But since the internet bubble burst, see, these are all other things. But many times when the company feel it comfortable, now they have stabilized themselves and they are in need of more capital, usually they come out with IPO, that is initial public offering. They offer the share of their companies to the public in general, right? Selling to a friendly individuals, like somebody who knows your business well, maybe your employees who knows your business in and out, and they would like to purchase it, making it your cash cow, like being the owner, but at the same time handling it on to some investor. Let them run the company and you retain some part of the ownership. And by doing this, you are churning out the cash out of the organization. Liquidation and close. This is the strategy which usually is not to be liked by any of the entrepreneur. Nobody would like to close or liquidate, but many a time this decision has to be taken as an exit strategy, and the entrepreneur need to be that bold. If the things goes haywire and if things are out of control, then the best strategy many times would be liquidation and closing down the business altogether, right? Liquidating the thing and then focusing on another new idea, maybe which is better than what was earlier done by the entrepreneur. So this is all about today's session. We'll be taking one case study on this exit strategy, how the entrepreneur are working on this, what can be the best strategy, and we'll be moving to further case studies, few case studies. In fact, I wanted to discuss 2 case studies today, one fictitious, one non-fictitious. I wanted to discuss case 7. This is something related to Shuddha Hawa Limited. We'll be taking it in our next session. This is more of a fictitious case study. This has certain implications to the promotion mix which we have discussed earlier. And is it good, Ananta? Is it being followed? I hope.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thanks, sir. Okay.
Fine. Then we'll aim for here. And I hope this case study has clarified the concept of sustainable development further, because this, as I said, is a realistic case study, and we need to study case studies something like this. Even fictitious has to be studied, because this will give us an edge over others when it comes to decision making, right? So thank you so much, Ananta, for being here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
See
Yes, sir.
you,
Yes, sir.
see you
Thank
for
you, sir.
the next lecture. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Fine.
Fine.